motherfucker. Son of a bitch. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a quite awkward episode 50 of MAME Politics. Hey. I'm just going to do a name check. Hi, you have a good point. Soul Man, how's it going? John, good to see you. No name, hey. Terror Toddler, hello. Binary Feedback, Smashy Trashy 100, how's it going? Hey Shane, good to see you. Lyric Mars, hi. Volta Vin, how's it going? Modus Operandi, good to see you. Bird Worldist, hello. Hugs back. Jinx, how's it going? JC, I think I name checked everybody. So, yeah. So first of all, I guess I'll just start by, hey Tom, how's it going? I'll just start by telling you guys that I live in the Bay Area. I am in California. I am in one of the counties that was given a quote-unquote stay-in order via text message and robocall for the foreseeable future. Actually, technically, until I believe April 6th / April 7th. They say that we cannot leave except for essential items like groceries, doctor visits, or gasoline. The 7-Eleven nearest to me is already closed. A lot of businesses are already totally closed. And yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I'm just going to stay home, try to wait this out, and, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much the fear has gotten to you guys. But I have to admit, I'm feeling like shit, mentally, physically. This has been a pretty stressful experience. And, so I guess just maybe starting off, maybe you guys can tell me who in your area or where you are has a mandatory or quasi-mandatory order been issued for your county, state, city, anywhere telling you that you are forced to stay indoors except for essential items. Because right now the Bay Area has basically gone into an Italy-style lockdown. It was imposed at 12:01 last night. I'm just going to catch up with the chat. You guys were talking. John Gold, it's a great point. John Gold says, what you guys don't get is, I've been quarantined, in quotes, essentially since 5/22/2013, since I broke my back. So I can't honestly tell the difference. Yeah, John, I was actually thinking about you a lot during this situation and how, people who are immobile or who are very used to staying home for long periods of time, this is not going to seem that abnormal. I mean, you guys already probably know I'm a social shut-in, so I don't even go to that many music shows anymore after the Ghost Ship fire. That shit traumatized the fuck out of me. I feel like an old man when I go to like parties and shows now. I'm always like the first one to leave, Binary Feedback says London, UK, nothing as of yet. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing over there is that they haven't locked down anything. Tom Collector, where is this from? You have 8 p.m. curfews. Is this New York? New York City? Please tell me where you are chiming in from. I forgot where you told me you're located. I'm sorry. John Gold, yes, I do have my wife here at home with me, and we are literally not going to leave the house from this point forward until we're basically told we can. And I know that sounds like an acquiescent, I'm taking orders from the government kind of a thing. But at this point, it's the situation for me has gotten so dire that this is actually one of the main things on my mind right now. I just watched a video of Germany, and it was straight out of the movie Outbreak, okay? They were literally doing a checkpoint on a highway in Germany with people in hazmat suits, checking people's temperatures in the car. And if you registered a high temperature, you were separated and quarantined. So if you are right now, even if the government hasn't said that they're going to start doing this, you better believe that this is going to come to the United States. And this is the only reason I'm telling people not to leave their loved ones right now, is because if you do, you may get separated if you happen to have a high temperature. They're not going to be able to test people in mass for coronavirus, COVID-19. They just can't do it, even with the test kits. They will take your temperature. That is the easiest, quickest way to separate the quote-unquote infected or the people showing symptoms from the people who aren't. So just keep this in mind. I know it sounds like it's out of a movie, but it's no longer out of a movie. This is real life now. This is what's happening in Germany, and it's going to happen here. So one of the first things on my mind was, I'm just not going to leave the house because I don't want to be separated from Lori. That was one of the foremost things on my mind right now. So I know maybe that sounds alarmist to some people who are hearing this, but this is something that Jason Burmis told me when I went on his live stream a couple days ago that's really stuck with me and I think stays true. It's one of the most important things to know during this is that the government is talking to us like we are children right now. Children in a horror movie, okay? The government is talking to us as if we are the dad from the movie The Mist about to blow his kid's head off in the SUV in the end. Sorry, spoiler alert. I apologize there. Spoiler alert. At the end of The Mist, the dad, realizing that this car is going to be infested with these interdimensional monsters, decides to blow off his own child's head. Okay? So, I don't even remember where I was going that. Jesus Christ. Okay, what my point was that the government right now is talking to us in the same way that that father talked to his child or would have talked to his child, okay? So what I'm saying is whatever they're telling us now, it's going to get more restrictive, more draconian, more fascistic, more movie-like. It's going to get cray. So whatever they're telling you now that they're going to do worse things. So if they're saying, oh, we just have a curfew right now till 8 p.m., they're going to do a mandatory lockdown next. This is a slow rollout to soften the psychological blow of taking away all of our civil liberties during this, whatever the fuck this is. Okay? I saw some more people come in here. I just want to do a name check of everybody. Didn't miss anybody. Hey, Brandaddy, how's it going? Hey, Peter H., great to see you. Hey, Carl, how's it going, man? New Jersey. Tom said he's in New Jersey, and they have an 8 p.m. curfew. Yikes. Well, you're in a better situation than me for now, Tom. LF, how's it going? No, I know who that is. I won't dox you in the chat. Thanks for joining. Ned Ryerson, good to see you. Trish, great to see you. I mean, we're all in this together. You know, that's what the media keeps telling us. Well, no, the media keeps telling us we're all going to get through this together, which is such a weird thing to say because if this is as bad as all the experts are saying it is, we're not all going to get through it together. So first of all, that's one example of the media talking to us like children. If you want an easy slam dunk example of the media getting some weird talking point, you know, whoever fed them that talking point, that was designed to try to soften the blow of the real facts that have been coming out from epidemiologists and all these experts that oddly the U.S. media was sort of slow to react to. I mean, frankly, I started panicking about this last week. And it seems like the mainstream media didn't really start to generate it into a panic until maybe, I don't know, the 14th or the 15th, like the day or two after we dropped that Media Roots podcast. Yeah, it was Whistles. Good to see you. So here's what I would recommend right now. We already got a taste today of an internet lockdown on Facebook. Dozens and dozens of people in my social media feed who weren't even political people. I mean, they're not like in the political scene. They're not journalists. They're not like researchers. They're not bloggers, or they don't make videos. Just friends of mine on Facebook who were trying to post political articles were basically being censored from being able to do so. Even the most benign articles you can imagine. Either this is what's going to come on Facebook in the next few days, or it was some kind of glitch. Now, I suspect that what we will see is this rollout that we've been seeing for the past 2 or 3 years of fake news, disinformation monitoring. The US government is simply not going to allow the internet to function as normal moving forward. There is now going to be government intervention. The whole time I've been saying they've been trying to sneak this through a back door, try to erode the First Amendment by sneakily using all these think tanks and private companies and organizations to erode, freedom on the internet, free speech. The government is now going to intervene and is going to basically have to tell ISPs to block certain websites. So I think this is going to be the next step. Facebook, it's not necessarily going to shut down, but it's going to be heavily policed to the point where they might only allow certain types of posts on Facebook. Even be careful, and I'm not even saying encrypted chat is safe, but be careful if you're having sensitive communications, especially right now. That can mean a lot of different things, but try to be careful about that as well. Obnobs is right. Get a VPN. Hi, Obnobs. How's it going? So here's what, and I don't want to be alarmist about this. I really don't. But here's what we're going to have to expect. This is going to damage civil liberties in this country more so than 9/11 did. First of all, that's already a given. Okay. This is a global event. So the United States can get away with clamping down and making things much more draconian from here on out. And it's not going to seem like they overreacted in doing so because they needed to save everybody, right? So it's not even it's going to be less meaningful to the world, if America clamps down on all this shit than it was even after 9/11, because 9/11, America alone was sort of reacting to the 9/11 attacks the way that it had, and sort of overreacted to say the least. So I guess right now I just mainly want to talk to you guys. I didn't, I'm not gonna play this fucking game. What the fuck? NATO defense? Yeah, whatever. I was trying to be funny, making a game that might be about what's going to happen here soon, which is another subject I wanted to bring out, which is World War III seems like it could be around the corner again. Okay? We're no longer in the Cold War 2.0 paradigm where all the media is pumping out insidious anti-Russian propaganda. They even dropped the case against the IRA, the Russian troll farm. They dropped it real quietly yesterday. They dropped that. So not only did the Mueller report completely implode in on itself and mean nothing, the IRA Russian troll farm indictment that fucking idiot, psychopath Robert Mueller concocted, that indictment was completely revoked. So it was meaningless. The Russian troll thing was a hoax, okay, everybody? So in case you didn't know already, the Russian troll thing, total hoax, had zero effect. RT America maybe had like an infinitesimal tiny effect on our political dialogue, but it had way more of an effect than any fucking Facebook ad Russian troll farm bullshit did. It was a hoax. Full on hoax. God, I don't remember what I was saying. I'm so scatterbrained right now. I'm upset. This is an upsetting time. Ned Ryerson, well, you predicted correctly. Ned Ryerson says he knew the pivot to China would be ramped up as soon as Trump got in. You are absolutely right. This was, and this, I have to say, it makes complete sense to me now why Tucker Carlson exists, even why someone like Tulsi exists. What's her rhetoric on China? You might want to look at that. It's making a lot more sense to me why the anti-war movement has been compromised the way that it has. And this might sound insane to some of you, but I believe it was to make way for a Cold War 3.0 scenario with China. And it's very clear to me that this is why Tucker Carlson's program was a limited hangout operation, to get all these anti-war personalities to stand down and to not say anything about all the anti-Chinese neocon propaganda being pumped the fuck out on Tucker's program on a daily basis. This is a full-on op, full-on limited hangout op, and it's actually worse than what we normally describe as a limited hangout op. This was an operation to distract people and to buy out large swaths of the trustworthy anti-establishment indie media to get them to stand down for this shit, for this pipeline to explode onto people's television sets. And I am not fucking around. This is exactly what this shit is, okay? You need to look up the Committee for Present Danger China. It has only met up and convened 4 other times in history since the 1950s, okay? The Committee on Present Danger China is a new think tank that has James Woolsey from PNAC. It has Frank Gaffney from PNAC. It has Steve Bannon. It has a lot of Trump loyalists who say that they're, anti-neocon or whatever. This was all an op. All these quasi-anti-establishment right-wingers, Mike Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, their sleeper cell activation orders have come in. Right now is their time to push out the coordinated talking points, neocon talking points on China. This is absolutely what's happening. This is why I went after Caitlin Johnstone and told her that it was extremely irresponsible to be getting Jack Posobiec and Cernovich to try to lift them up as anti-deep state heroes, and why it was unacceptable that she was allowing herself to ride on their retweets and clicks. This is why I went so hard at someone like her. I knew it was an op. I knew these people were plants. So this is really, really a really big problem. And I'm not going to accuse, I'm not talking about any of the specific guests who've gone on Tucker Carlson. I'm not saying that they are necessarily complicit in an operation, but they are standing down during a very crucial time. This would be like if after 9/11, all the neocons were trying to blame Palestine, and because some neocon invited some anti-war people on their show or had a rotating cast of them, those anti-war people won't call out that neocon for trying to blame Palestine. This is a similar situation. I cannot stress that enough. This is a very dangerous situation, okay? And the fact that Glenn Greenwald and Lee Fang are out there on Twitter right now promoting a piece saying Tucker helped save the country by convincing Trump that the COVID-19 virus is serious, that's absolutely blows my mind. I can't believe Glenn Greenwald and Lee Fang would do something that irresponsible. You need to call this motherfucker out. He is a neocon pipeline for anti-Chinese neocon think tanks in D.C. that have been cooking up these talking points for years, okay? It's just so blatantly obvious to me now. And I don't know, am I going crazy? Because to me, it's more clear than ever that this shit was a straight-up op the whole time. Oh, yeah, Glenn Greenwald also retweeted Cigar today, okay? From the Hudson fucking Institute, okay? I'm not joking around here. This shit's really, really bad. This is really bad. Yeah, Tom Collector, that's true. Glenn did support the Iraq War and tried to hide it. That is absolutely true, Tom Collector. We can never forget that. He tried to rebrand himself. It didn't quite work, though, entirely, did it? Because we've seen what he said about the Iraq War in those old blogs. We've seen that shit. A Catch-22 says, I see right-wingers on Facebook posting a lot of anti-China stuff very recently. It's all filtered down. Absolutely. This is what QAnon probably was. This is why all these anti-establishment, quasi-anti-war branded people, are floating up so quickly, rising in the ranks all of a sudden. How did all these people appear? Well, it seems like this is what their purpose was for. is to basically make the anti-war movement sort of stand down, to just make way for all this shit. And it's just so obvious. Look at the back at the last 3 years. This is a perfect situation to exploit by the neoconservatives. Perfect. And if some of these crazy neocons actually want to go to war with China over this, it's not going to take much to do that. It really won't. The leverage is already completely there. All they have to do is say, hey, we want the world to be able to know what happened in Wuhan. We're going to send in the army and experts to investigate this. And you will have to stand down and let your sovereign territory be invaded and let U.S. weapons inspectors come in. Do you think Trump is going to let the UN deal with that shit? No. Make America great again, dude. He's going to fucking... That's going to be it. I mean, I cannot stress enough how much of a convenient geopolitical scenario this is for the neocons. China destroyed the world. We need to stop China. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is what the neocons are going to try to do. This is China's fault. We need to stop them. We can never let this happen again. That's not me saying that. I'm just using the voices of what these neocons are already thinking. And you know exactly that they are thinking this. You know that they are. Because there is some truth to the idea that Russia is not really a threat in the same way that China is geopolitically to us. Like if you want to look at the geopolitical chessboard, thing. So, yeah, Oz whistles. The Uyghur thing got my antenna twitching. Yeah, I mean, me too. The Hong Kong protest, how the organ harvesting stories are back all of a sudden. I don't remember hearing much about that at all, about China, since the 1990s. We're talking about Falun Gong again. There's the Epoch Times, a propagandistic newspaper that's floating all around the internet, super viral, that's run by the Falun Gong. Dude, the Falun Gong have been funded by the CIA since like the 1980s. I mean, yeah, maybe some Falun Gong practitioners are legit. I don't know. But they're being used as a conduit for CIA operations in China. Okay? I mean, so this is... Wow. Okay, binary feedback. I got to look at that. War Room Pandemic. That he says Bannon has been running a daily podcast called War Room Pandemic. Wow. Okay. I got to check that out. Bannon did say we'd be at war in the South China Sea in the next 10 years. So all these people like Bannon who claim that they hate the neocons, and he's even talking about Paul Singer and how the neocons cooked up the Steele dossier. The only one of these right-wingers willing to tell the truth about that, which is hilarious. But it's all pretend. Roger Stone, all these people acting like they hate neocons. Roger Stone plays poker with John Bolton. All these people are liars. They've carved out this little weird area in politics where they know that being anti-neocon and anti-war is a leveraging chip to be able to push through other fascist-like agendas and other neocon warmongering agendas of their own. Bad Andy, next will be some documentary or movie on Netflix bashing China. Let's hope that we have even the ability to watch that, okay? Let's hope that China hasn't been nuked before that happens. I'm not kidding. I really think this is a very dangerous situation that we're in right now. Extremely dangerous. Tom Cotton went on the Senate floor and said that this was a Chinese bioweapon a month ago, okay? Who told him to say that? Who puppeteered that fucking psychopath to say that shit? It was going all around the media saying that, okay? Now, the Chinese government, since then, and the Iranian government, different members of each government, have now said that it is a U.S. bioweapon, and it actually didn't originate in China. Now, all these right-wingers are then gaslighting them and being like, now they're accusing us of doing it. We got to shut China down. Fuck China. Like Mike Cernovich, who's a neocon cunt motherfucker. Mike Cernovich is a total plant. He is friends with a child rapist, Alan Dershowitz, okay? So if you're still taking Mike Cernovich seriously, please get out of this fucking chat. I don't even want you to even be in here right now. I can't stand you. You got conned. I don't even want your stupidity in this chat room. Now all those people are going after the fact that the Chinese government's saying this. Well, it's like Tom Cotton said it first, dude. Our government said it. He's a member from our government. He's a senator, okay? Somebody told him to fucking say that. And now we're going to get mad at them for saying it's a U.S. bioweapon? Well, I'm sorry. Their theory's a lot more likely than Tom Cotton's is. A lot more likely. Yeah, Soul Man, I'm on fire. I'm quarantined, dude. I mean, I'm not literally quarantined, but they fucking sent a robocall to my house telling us not to leave. Yeah, JNNX, Scott Adams. I mean, I don't know what Scott Adams' deal is. I'm not saying he's a neocon plant. He's just a sugar daddy dumb fuck who lives in Pleasanton, California and needs to get fucked in his tan house. Stupid motherfucker. What a stupid twat. Yeah, good, Obnobs. Take those Shenyang flyers because they're fucking CIA propaganda. It's hilarious how much they blast that shit. It'd be like if they put Pussy Riot posters all over the place. That's how stupid that shit is. It's like, what, we don't notice this is an obvious op? You kidding me? JNNX, what about Adam Curry? What should I look into about Adam Curry? Because I'm familiar with him, but I tried to get him a very heavy agenda for years. I used to talk with one of his producers or co-hosts of his podcast, and she was a fan of the movie, and she was trying to get it to him, and we were trying to set up an appearance, and then it just ended up falling kind of into the abyss. Yeah, he was just on Joe Rogan. Adam Curry was. He's an interesting dude for sure. Like, I don't know much about him, but I mean, definitely sort of one of those like weird iconoclastic people that you just probably never heard of before. I'm going to cruise over to the twatter really quick to see what the fuck's going on. A couple people have told me this today, actually, so maybe some of you guys have seen it, but have you already seen John Pilger's documentary, The Coming War with China? I've heard it's very good. I haven't seen it, but I should see it now. Because I think whoever was, months ago, years ago, saying that the neocons are going to pivot to China next, Asia's the new thing, the new foreign policy agenda, the new propaganda pipeline. Whoever was saying that years ago, try to remember, if you guys can do me a favor, and try to remember who those people were and share their names in the chat with me now. Because I feel like a lot of people just were not paying enough attention to this. I mean, even a lot of the neocon watchers that I pay attention to were not. I wasn't paying enough attention to it. So I want to know who was. It sounds like John Pilger was one of those people who was paying an adequate enough attention to this. That's an interesting suggestion, Day Day. Water temples creep me out, to be honest. I don't know if you mean like the water temple, like the concept of water temple is really weird. I used to think it was like a Masonic thing, but it's actually not. It's like some other sort of weird. It's not religious, but it kind of is. Look up water temple. It's bizarre. I don't know of any water temples I could go next to and fuck by though. Is the problem. There's a lot of ticks right now in the woods that nearby us, and also that's not good fucking environment either. Ned Ryerson, what do you make of the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman saying the United States military could have brought the coronavirus to China? I think it's great that the Chinese government is coming out and saying that. I mean, the U.S. government, Tom Cotton, already said it a month before the Chinese government did. So, well, he didn't say the same thing. He said it was a Chinese bioweapon that was unleashed. JNNX, yeah, I have looked into Owen Benjamin. I think he's one of the dumbest motherfuckers ever. He is such a stupid idiot. I mean, he's kind of pathetic in a way, to be honest. He was going in this weird rabbit hole before his Twitter account got banned, where he was talking constantly about David Hogg's dick and his pubes and stuff, and it was getting kind of like pedophilia, like. And Owen Benjamin's one of those guys who's like obsessed with killing the elite pedos and taking him out and shit. And I don't know, man. He's just a disgusting fucking idiot. I can't. I mean, he's kind of. I like how pathetic he is. He's kind of a fun spectacle. Even people like Anthony Cumia, who are also dumb motherfucking creeps, have called out Owen Benjamin and like done entire video segments about like how ridiculous some of his content is. What do you think he's doing, JNNX? What do you think he's doing? I mean, is he a plant? Because I just don't think he's smart enough to be one. Obnobs, I don't know what reverse glasnost is. I'm not as educated as Benjamin Norton to use vocabulary like that. You gotta school me. I didn't go to real college, guys. I got an associate's degree. You gotta school me on some shit. I don't know these fancy words. John, good to hear that, man. I know it's maybe trivial to some other people who are reading this chat who don't smoke, but that's very important. So I'm really glad. Creature comforts right now. If you're told to stay home for the next 3 weeks and the police or the National Guard are going to hassle you if you leave your fucking house, then yeah, stock up on all your creature comforts. Get all your comforts. Get things that soothe you. Don't just buy groceries, like food. Buy it. Make sure you have other shit stocked up too. Do it now. Like, even if you're listening to this chat and you haven't done it and you live in the U.S., do it now. Turn off this chat. This episode will be public. This is not for patrons only. You're not going to miss it. Put it on your phone. Put it on YouTube on your phone if you have the ability to, and get in your car and go to the store right now if you are not stocked up for at least 3 weeks. I cannot be more serious in saying that. The panic buying you see on the news and in social media, it's real. It is disrupting the supply chains. You cannot get items off of Amazon unless they're essential medical supplies and specific things for the next 3 weeks. I already tried to order some items on Prime, some miscellaneous things in the last couple of days. They are not coming until the middle of April. Okay? This is serious. So regardless of what you think this is, if it's a bioweapon, who did it, what is it, what the death rate is of it, the way the government is reacting to it is so serious that I think that's what we need to be focused on right now. I mean, obviously don't get infected with it. If it is as contagious as all the experts are saying it is, I believe it, don't get infected. Do whatever you can to prevent spreading the infection to others. I mean, they're telling us not to wear masks, but are you sure they're not telling us that because they want all the doctors to make sure they have them? I mean, this is another thing I keep thinking of is they're talking to us like children. Why are they telling us not to wear masks? That'll really heavily prevent the spread of infection because a lot of people who have it don't show symptoms. So why wouldn't you wear a mask when you go outside? So I find that strange. And, until very recently when they started saying the masks are going to run out, I thought that was valid information. And now I'm kind of looking back on it thinking, shit, they were trying to save up the masks. They didn't want people to rush masks because people would just buy them all up. They're running out of masks in Italy. It's shit. I mean, this is real, okay? I also need to implore that if you have anybody on your social media feeds who believes in Q, if they're pushing Q stuff right now, I would hide them on social media just to save your own self the stress. I already got contacted and shared Q stuff today. It was extremely triggering for me. And it was someone who believed in it. So I'm just going to say, I was on a personal level, it was very triggering for me. It made me very angry. And I had to tell them not to send anything like that to me anymore, especially right now. And that I tried to say it politely, but it really pissed me off. And I am concerned, especially about those people right now. If you know anyone who is believing a neocon disinfo operation cult, I would be careful right now. especially if they are your so-called friends. Um, I just feel that they are very mentally primed to lose it during a situation like this. If you live in the South, if you live in a rural areas with a lot of armed people around you, think about how they're going to react to a mandatory quarantine. They might listen to orders to stay home, but are they going to like it if the National Guard goes door to door to take people's temperatures? I don't think they're going to like that. I don't think I'm going to like that. But I'm not going to shoot anybody. I'm not going to I'm not the type of person. I will follow orders. I'm not going to, Ruby Ridge it or whatever. I'm not saying, Ruby Ridge is a complicated situation. That was probably a bad reference. But look, I just think we need to be thinking about things if they get worse. What are things going to be like a week from now? What are things going to be like 2 weeks from now? Okay? Tom W., I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Tom W. says, I think a lot of it has to do with perception management. If people all start wearing masks, it will scare people and cause panic. Yeah, that's absolutely true. They want to roll it out so that people do not panic in mass. That's why they didn't just straight up issue a quarantine order from New York City. Because as soon as they did, people would panic and try to get out of the city. The highways would be backed up. It would be complete pandemonium. They have to condition you over several days and be like, we're going to do a curfew. We don't want you to go out to mass gatherings. And the next day it's like, now there's a curfew. You can't go out to mass gatherings. The next day it's going to be, now you can't go in and out of the city. Now you can't leave your house unless you have an accompaniment from a law enforcement agent or permission from the law. This is what's already happening in Italy and Germany and Spain. This is what's going to happen here next. They're only doing it on local levels, municipalities for now. The Bay Area, I'm not saying that I agree with mandatory orders to stay home, but the Bay Area is already ahead of the curve, the San Francisco Bay Area where I live right now. So I'm hoping that the Bay Area will be somewhat spared from this if it gets worse in terms of infections and deaths, because they issued this mandatory order yesterday. Yeah, I was joking around with Lori on the last broadcast here, and by the way, she's fine. Lori's good. She's actually upstairs making dinner right now. We've been trading the dinner duties, which is kind of not normal for us to make this many meals at home. So, um, it's kind of nice in a way, actually. Obnob's, when are the airports going to get shut down? In terms of when, I'd say in the next 48 hours. I would just think if you haven't done something yet and you need to do something now, and you're worried that maybe things could get shut down in the next 72 hours or even the next week, do it now, because your anxiety is going to start to go up. You're going to start to panic if they start to roll out more restrictions. Please, Ned, Abby's good. John, we're told, it's not by under punishment of law, but we're told we can't even see our relatives right now unless they need essential goods. So they're basically ordering us, like if I want to go visit my mom, just drop off some groceries to her. You're not even supposed to see visitors. Those are the orders. Now, how they're going to enforce these, or are people going to listen to them? I don't know. I'm just telling you what was basically ordered or told to us. And this is coming next for the rest of the country. Bird Worldless, yes, we're good. We buy a giant, 3 month supply in a bag, and she eats very little, so it's good. We're good. How's everybody else in here? I wanted to check in with you guys. Is anybody really panicking right now that they might get separated from a loved one? Does anybody have a loved one that's stranded in Europe right now? I had a really good friend who almost got stuck in England because she was still there before Trump actually issued the travel restriction ban for the UK. As soon as he did the speech on the Europe travel ban, I contacted her immediately and I was like, you should get another ticket. You should try to change your flight. And luckily she was able to, but it's still, she had to be on hold forever. But like in a couple days after that, there weren't any plane tickets available. So people are stranded over there right now. Obnobs, yes, this is the worst case scenario for full fascism. We already know the United States on some level has been pushing for this forever. Does anyone need anything? Is anyone scared they're going to run out of anything that's essential for their survival right now? I'm serious. Does anyone need anything? I just want to, because use this chat room right now. If anybody in here has any essential goods that they can spare with people, ship them somewhere. We got to help each other out right now. The government's not going to help us. Their government's going to get scary. Okay, it's going to be scary if we have to be separated from a loved one and be treated in a makeshift military-based hospital, suffering from heavy, debilitating coronavirus symptoms. That's going to be really scary. To have some fucking snot-nosed, like 20-year-old National Guard child wearing a mask and a hazmat suit, watching me suffer from coronavirus in a military base. You don't want to be in that position, okay? You do not. That is, to me, my nightmare, is being alone or knowing that a loved one is alone and suffering. And some stupid soldier or cop is there, taking care of them or whatever. Terrifying. Make sure you get all your friends' phone numbers on social media. Some of you guys, please reach out to me. We'll trade phone numbers for sure. This is not a drill. They might shut down Facebook. They might shut down Twitter. We've heard about this happening in all these authoritarian countries where they shut down social media when there's civil unrest. Well, what do you think is going to happen here if people in the South who are heavily armed and militias refuse to comply? That's civil unrest. Okay? What happens if the stores keep running out of food and don't restock? There's going to be looting and robberies. That's civil unrest. What happens if people are trying to organize against the government right now? That could be seen as civil unrest during a dangerous pandemic. We might need to shut down social media. Do you understand what I'm saying? John, I don't want you to get, I know you want to give out your phone number here. I would try to avoid, because this is going to be up here forever. Remember, this is a public upload. So anybody who wants to write that down now, John's sharing his contact information, write it down, because I am going to remove it from the chat. I do not want people to prank phone call you, John, or harass you. So I'm going to leave it up there for about another minute, and then I'm going to remove it, okay? But you can direct message me on Twitter. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me if you want to exchange contact information. Ned Ryerson, that's awesome. That does cheer me up. Can we see it? Can you upload it? Where is it? I would love to see that. Knowing you probably got some choice cuts. You already climbed into my psyche. So I can't wait to see what edits you've done on me. Yes, please. Just put it in here. Put it in here for now. I mean, that kind of warms my heart in a way, actually. The situation I'm in, I mean, for people who are not already under a mandatory lockdown like this, it really means a lot. So, I mean, this means a lot, even being able to talk to you guys today. Like, just being able to know that you're still out there, Um, and I'm going to try to do these. I'm going to try to keep doing these every day. I know that I haven't been keeping up with it. Things have been really fucking stressful lately. The one thing that I can spare for anyone who needs them, and I may end up just donating them to a hospital, is I do have extra N95 masks. I purchased them during all the California wildfires, and I did end up giving most of them out. So if anybody has to leave their home, I will gladly send you what I would be able to spare if need be. So please contact me on Twitter, okay, about that. Yeah, Bird Worldist says the governor of my state kept saying that the supply lines are not in danger and supplies will be fine. He said Trump told him to say that. It is suspicious. They don't want people to keep panic buying because then the supply line will run out even worse. They want to try to keep some groceries on the store shelves. They want to be able to keep the appearance that the infrastructure in this country hasn't completely fucking fallen apart. This is what happens in a corporate sacrifice zone. I don't say that lightly. This is what the United States is. This is what the United States is. We've let corporations and billionaires turn it into a sacrifice zone. Do you understand that? I mean, we talk all day long about how the people are treated in North Korea and China and Iran and Russia. And look at this. It's a sacrifice zone. They ultimately do not care about human life. I mean, if this doesn't show that to you, I don't know what will. I mean, it's fucked up beyond anyone's imagination, really. I mean, they could make a more realistic pandemic movie like Contagion, where it's not even about everybody who gets the disease dies instantly. It's like the fucking infrastructure collapses and the hospitals get jammed up and all the food's gone and everybody just has to stay at home and wait it out and not know what the hell's going on. Tom Collector, I understand where you're coming from about veganism. I mean, I just saw a guy named Jason Wilson today, who's a big sort of leftist media guy that I happen to like, and he would never encourage gun ownership. In fact, he's one of the main guys covering how awful the school shootings are. He's not like an anti-Second Amendment guy, but he's actually out there on Twitter today saying that you should probably have a gun if you want to hunt for food, okay? This is how serious this is. Oz Whistle, say a little bit more about that. Why you think the supply lines are still intact, but that the suppliers themselves are pushed to the edge? Ned Ryerson, well, what do you expect people to do? Ned Ryerson says supply chains would be fine if people didn't panic buy. Well, nobody here is prepared to stay in their home for over a month. So what are people supposed to do other than panic buy? I mean, there's, the grocery stores or something should have already had some sort of rationing set up for things like hand sanitizer, disinfectant. They didn't at all. That's why those things got bought up. I think my sister described trying to get hand sanitizer at Walmart, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, we just got some in this morning, but a guy came in and bought like 2 pallets full of it." It's like, why would Walmart even allow that shit? That's fucking crazy. You'd think like the manager at Walmart would be smart enough to be like, no. You can't buy the entire pallet of hand sanitizer, buddy. But yeah, the stores just let people do whatever. I mean, so this is there's so many fucking layers to how problematic this is. But I think more than anything else, what we need to worry about. Oh, and just one more thing. Just in case you're still out there thinking that this disease is just the flu, it's going to blow over, it's only going to kill the same amount of people as the flu, we're overreacting. I mean, actually, you know what convinced me that that's bullshit? A video I saw in Italy today in a hospital where there's people triaged all through the hallway hospital, in the hospital. And all the people in the beds wearing masks, they're all being treated by people in hazmat style suits. It's a nightmare, okay? Okay, they're all crisis actors, I've heard some people say. I mean, now I don't even want to think about that too much. It's just going to make me furious. It's just going to make me furious to think that there's people out there, people that I know personally, who believe that it's fake still. And it just blows my mind. I don't even know how these people hold down a job. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, they need to seek serious mental health counseling. I can't even believe that people would think that at this point something's fake about it, and that these people all dying around the world are crisis actors. It's incredible. It's basically the same as flat Earth at that point. That's almost the equivalent to it. It's like saying nobody died in the Las Vegas shooting. That is almost exactly the same level of stupidity as saying the Earth is flat. You remember that sane progressive lady? Sane progressive who made a little career for herself on YouTube, like H.A. Goodman. She was still part of that little circuit. And then all of a sudden after that Vegas shooting, she went full, where's the blood? She was actually literally saying, where's the blood in Las Vegas? Okay? Then she said that the fires in California were from space beams. Okay? And she seemed like a perfectly sane progressive. Her name was the Sane Progressive, right? You would think someone self-aware enough to call themselves sane knows what actually being schizophrenic and mentally ill is at a certain extent. I mean, I would go to see a therapist if I started believing that the fires in California are created by space beams. Even if I really believed it, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going too far with this. It's really affecting my life. I need to go see a therapist immediately to figure out why I'm believing that space beams are causing the California fires. I've almost been going for an hour. Yeah, Tom Collector, that's a good question. I smoke marijuana. I vape. So I've definitely been seriously concerned about the lung damage aspect of this. Just hope to God I don't fucking get it. They're saying 40 to 70% of the population is going to get it at some point. That's nuts. Ned, I do have an email. Yes, I do. If you want to email me, you can email me at videohoax, HOAX, @hotmail.com. It's not my main primary email. I'm not going to give that out on the chat. But if you send me your information, I'll make sure we stay in touch. Okay? Yep. That's quite a lot of dead people. And people needed to be hospitalized day. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I actually got nicotine patches today in the mail. Luckily, Amazon, one of their last deliveries, I think I'm going to get for a while, dropped me off a giant box of nicotine patches. So I am getting off the vape today and just try to ride this shit out. Faint signals from Vega, Trish. I do not have a PO box currently, but we could trade postal addresses. I trust you. I don't think you're gonna send me anthrax. Sorry, that was probably a poor joke and poor taste right now. But I mean, I gotta say, I guess what softened the blow somewhat for me about all this is that nightmare scenario in the Operation Dark Winter drill. I mean, honestly, look back at all those videos of Operation Dark Winter, the drill that was done of the imaginary smallpox terrorist attack. Go look back and listen to those videos. It's basically projecting the exact same scenario that we're facing now. Complete martial law, lockdowns, people not able to leave their homes, total log jam of all the hospitals, not enough people, not enough doctors, people being left to die. That was the projected scenario in Operation Dark Winter. And yeah, Bird Worldist. Yeah, it was pretty creepy, huh? That they kept mentioning Oklahoma City, right? That was creepy. You know why, though? Whoever's behind doing all this shit decided, we're not going to try to blame right-wing militias movements anymore for terrorism. We're going to try to blame Arabs. And I think that during the Operation Dark Winter scenario, they were still debating whether the terrorist would be possibly Middle Eastern or a white supremacist or something like that. I mean, the Oklahoma City bombing is fucking weird. There's definitely two narratives that were being battled over by some different factions of the deep state, I think, during that. That whole John Doe #2 thing about the Iraqi-looking guy who was with Timothy McVeigh, that whole thing is so weird. The fact that there were explosives allegedly found inside the building that the FBI secretly whisked away. There's so many weird things about that. I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But, I mean, yeah, OKC utilized both of those narratives. Exactly, Terror Toddler. Exactly. Similar to the, I was going to say, is it TWA 800? No, that wasn't. I don't think they tried to blame those on, I think they tried to blame those on Cubans or something. I'm trying to remember. Rhizome, what do you mean misattribution causes of illness? Like, do you think that the data is being skewed? Because here's my kind of argument to what you're saying is that there's so much data coming in from so many different sources that at this point, even if somebody was inserting false data into it, if you've ever taken statistics, which I haven't, so I'm actually dumbass on this, but I know from people who are experts in it that even if you inject a lot of false data or remove a bunch of the data from a data set, it'll still pretty much have the same outcome. The sort of the math at a certain point doesn't lie. Okay. And for example, people might not have any idea what the hell I'm talking about with this. There's these two mathematical geniuses that I follow on Facebook. They're not known for being mathematicians. They're known for being the inventors and pioneers of physical modeling synthesizers. One of the guys' name is Julius Smith. He is the inventor of digital waveguide synthesis, which has the ability to emulate hundreds of acoustic instruments using purely mathematical models in a computer. Now, him and the other guy, they're largely behind this technology that to this day is unsurpassed. These two guys invented this technology in the early 1990s using mathematical models and algorithms, and to this day, 30 years later, no one has been able to mathematically map out what they've done and recreate it as effectively as they did. Now, that being said, both men are saying the math is totally true. It's actually going to be worse than the curves that are currently being shown. They're actually re-verifying the math in their own MATLAB scripts. MATLAB is a mathematical programming computation program. Geometry does a whole bunch of different things. They're posting their own code, showing and checking and rechecking all the data. These guys themselves are verifying the data to me in real time on Facebook and basically doing their own variations of the code and how it's being calculated, how it's being graphed. And I'm like, yeah, this is all true. There's no reason at this point, I think, to really dispute the numbers. I think, if anything, the numbers are actually lower than how many infections there actually are, especially in the United States, especially here. I think we can trust what's happening in South Korea and China more than what's happening here. That's why we're gaslighting China for silencing a whistleblower, or the state media is covering up X, Y, and Z. It's because the CDC here already covered shit up. There were already stories about how the CDC was super upset that this testing facility that did flu swabs for all the people in Seattle wanted to test for COVID-19 and found all these positive results. They did not want them to release them. Okay? So how's it any better than China? I just don't understand this moral superiority. Anyone who's pushing that kind of narrative right now, ignore them. I'm not saying they're neocon plants, but they've fallen into a neocon trap. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to anyone who's focusing on China being the culprit of this right now and what needs to be done about it. Do not focus on them. They're focusing on the wrong things. What we need to be focused on is one of the most dangerous empires on the planet, utilizing a terrible, horrifying situation to push through a terrible, horrifying agenda, possibly at worst World War III and war with China. All-out military conflict with the country of China. That is the worst case scenario. And it is true, like I was saying, that Russia is not really our geopolitical rival. If you really want to look at things on a chessboard, it's China. It's not Russia. Russia has a lot of nukes and military, okay? But besides that, they don't really hold us hostage. And I don't mean that literally. I don't want to use any of the rhetoric that Tucker, Tricky Dick, CIA plant, neocon Carlson was putting out there about it being that China is holding us hostage and how we need to get out from under their thumb and that kind of thing. That's not what I'm trying to say. Emu, yes. If you can now, yes. Absolutely, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody who still has the opportunity to get one, go get one right now. Right now. Turn off this broadcast. Go get whatever supplies that you need right now. Don't wait. You're going to be sorry, and you're going to panic more if you wait. I'm telling you. Yeah, Voltavin, true. But, let's hope for the best here. I mean, you might only have to fire off a warning shot if shit gets bad. If someone could be coming to a home unarmed just out of desperation. So, yes, if you're up against someone with a revolver, you have a revolver and they have an AR-15, it's probably better to put down your gun, right? But there's nothing wrong with having a firearm. I would say, in terms of my home defense weapon of choice, what I would recommend, something that you can, if you don't want to worry about aim at all, that would be a shotgun. Because then you could just blow a hole in something, and you don't have to really aim it. It'll basically be just like letting off a bomb right in front of you, shooting in the other direction. But at the same time, and Bill Burr has actually said this, and I agree with him, that's kind of also risky if you're going to shoot it in the direction of a loved one sleeping in the other room. You never know what's going to happen in a situation like that. Yeah, obnobs, totally agree. If you're not used to guns, you don't handle guns, obtain something. I would say probably obtain a revolver, actually. Because guns with clips, they can jam. And, even like at a shooting range, like I don't know very much about guns at all, but I remember how annoying it was sometimes using a gun with a clip versus a revolver. Obnob says disagree on revolver. Tell me why, Obnobs. I'm not a gun expert, so I'm sure you have a good reason for disagreeing with what I just said. These are just all my personal recommendations. I am not an expert in guns. I hate guns. They make me nervous to be around. I don't even, the times I've been to a shooting range, I'm fucking nervous the whole time. Volta Vin, yes. I mean, you seem to have a lot more experience world traveling than the average person, and I think that's a great recommendation. If you can just get up on a flight and leave and be able to relocate somewhere comfortably, and that's something that wouldn't disrupt your life too much, go for it. Do it. That's interesting, Obnobs. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, that is true. Revolvers do shoot slower. I mean, I guess I'm just thinking that, if you're able to get off one shot, yeah, I'm probably not thinking technically enough about this. Can't believe we're talking about guns right now. It's crazy. Emu, it depends. If my wife, so Emu says, if my wife forbade you to have a gun, if your wife forbade you to have a gun, what would you do? I mean, I probably wouldn't get one. But in a total emergency meltdown situation, if I couldn't convince her of the level of seriousness of something, I might just secretly get one and not tell her. Worst case scenario. Don't tell Lori I said that. But I mean, Lori's been on the same page with me about all this stuff going on. Maybe it took me 24 hours, maybe like a total of 24 hours to get her on the same page as me, starting from the time I woke up to the end of the evening. I had to convince her for like maybe a day that we should stock up. We needed to get prepared, think about worst case scenarios. And yeah, she's right here with me by my side. Really lucky to have her as a partner with me right now. I can't imagine being cooped up alone. I mean, that's got to be hard too. Obnobs 100% agree with your statement. It's not alarmist. Not alarmist. Obnob says, not trying to be alarmist. Guns are not the first thing to get. But if you have the money and you feel safe around them, then get one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Adam G. What is it? What kind of, do you work at a hospital where there are patients currently? Are you hearing anything about this? I forgot actually until you just mentioned again that you work in a hospital. I mean, what kind of inside knowledge do you have at all about what's going on? Anecdotal stories you've heard from other medical professionals, healthcare workers. What should we expect coming forward? Do you have any insight into that? Because Kyle Kalinske of Secular Talk was communicating with a doctor who was currently working in an ER in New York City, and he said that this is not an old person's disease. We've already had to triage several people like in their 30s. I mean, that's scary. That if you're in your 30s, you'll have to have a tube shoved down your trachea and put on a breathing machine. I mean, that just sounds like an awful way to die. I mean, but again, most people survive. That's the thing. It sounds horrifying. I guess if they pump you full of enough morphine, then you're not going to notice it. But that's another thing I've been hearing is that they're running out of morphine now. They're running low on morphine supplies. Like, worst case scenario, if any of us are going to kick the bucket from this, we're going to need morphine at the very least, okay? Yeah, obnobs. I don't remember where I heard that, but I did. Basically, healthcare professionals are running out of all the supplies that they would need to treat the coronavirus COVID-19 symptoms. And that includes morphine to make people's demise more soothing, that they can't actually help. They actually will give morphine automatically to most people who are being, what do you call it? Intubated. Because your throat, your trachea relaxes more when you're given like an opioid like morphine, and it puts you more of in a dazed state. So it's easier for a doctor to put a tube into your trachea. So just intubating you requires morphine. So what we need to realize is all of the supplies, think about anything, masks, gloves, the ventilators, the tubes themselves, the adapters for the tubes. These are all running out worldwide, okay? And Italy had to take in a bunch of donations of ventilators and other supplies from China. We have a very limited supply here, okay? So yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Oh Jesus, Adam G. That's bad. That's bad news. Oh yeah. Well, no, I did play it at the beginning, John. I think you missed it. Well, how about this? I'll play some NATO defense. Oh, by the way, if you guys want some levity during this moment of craziness, make sure to watch Norm Macdonald's 2-part stand-up routine on the coronavirus. It really put me in a good mood, although it's very dark. It's fucking great, really great. I don't know what happened. Tom Segura did an episode with Sam Tripoli where he let Sam Tripoli go off for like 20 minutes about just crazy conspiracy stuff like reptilians and it was, I mean, it was all like in jest, but I guess Tom Segura maybe decided that it was problematic to release it, so he pulled the episode. It was actually the first time that I've known that they pulled an episode on the Tom Segura podcast. Heather Behrens, Norm Macdonald. He's a stand-up comedian. He used to be on Saturday Night Live. I will put it in the chat. You guys should like this. Ned, what happened to your I
wasn't gonna talk.
I thought Ned said he was gonna post his tribute video link in here. Where'd you go, Ned? Ned Ryerson. Do I have to buy all your life insurance policies for you to post the link, dude? Post it. So that's Norm Macdonald's stand-up routine. I just posted in the chat right here. Oh, Tim Dillon got serious. I actually haven't watched his thing. Now I know why Tim Dillon unfollowed me, by the way. I don't know if I said this. I was really sad when Tim Dillon followed me, then unfollowed me. Whitney Webb actually, I think, kind of convinced him to follow me. And then when he followed me, I started going off. No, I can't see it, Ned. I can't see it. Why not? Can you tweet it at me right now, Ned? You said you're not on Twitter. Shoot. Ned, email me the link at videohoax@hotmail.com right now, and I will post it in the chat. Because for some reason, I guess you're still not able to post URLs. I'm sorry. I thought I fixed that. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I guess it still doesn't let it. Okay. That'll work, right? That should work. Well, here. I hope you're not I hope it's not a bait and switch. It'd be hilarious if you just like cut my voice up, making me sound like I'm gonna shoot up a mall or something. All right, here I go. I'm gonna take the risk. I'm taking the risk, Ned. Hopefully, you didn't cut me up doing a bomb threat like in the movie Problem. Not Problem Child. What's that movie called? Clifford. That movie's. I love Clifford. Gotta tell you, I fucking love the movie Clifford with Charles Grodin and Martin Short. That's a quality film. All right, well, I think I'm kind of ready to log off here. I guess I managed to do an hour and 15. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go this long today. It's actually pretty cathartic. I kind of thought I was going to crack live on this channel, to be honest. It's been pretty emotionally rough, man. So thank you again, everybody, for being here, saying hello, knowing that you guys are still out there. Everybody's okay. Sounds like everybody's okay. No one's had any relatives or family that have gone sick yet. That's good. Or I haven't been told that yet. But love you guys. Join me again here, hopefully tomorrow, on MAME Politics. And kind of I was hoping episode 50 was going to be more of a celebratory environment or celebratory time. I was even going to have cocktails. Lori and I were going to cheers. We were going to have a grand old time. But not quite the proper time to do that, I guess. So let's I'll try to be in better spirits tomorrow, because I feel like I owe that to you guys. I think it's not going to be healthy if you just tune into MAME Politics right now and I'm just pure anger. But maybe that's something that's good. I don't know. You can tell me, okay? Take care, everybody. And you know where to reach me on Twitter at Fluorescent Grey. You can email me. I gave out my email address. videohoax@hotmail.com. Hit me up. See you on the flip side, everybody. Take care.